Hello again, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Chappie Chris.
And I'm Chappie Peter.
We have a fascinating story to tell today, and it was a fascinating place where it happened.
This is a story of lost property, its recovery by a miracle, and ultimate return to its owners, who was us, over a year later.
The story began with our visit to Captain Starlight's lookout near Longreach on September 22nd, 2023.
I had the drone follow me up the hill after it took off from the home point behind the car.
Have a look at the view from Hilltop.
Imagine the benefit having a bird's eye view for bush rangers in the old days.
Who was this Starlight character?
Well, he was born in 1837, Henry Redford, also known as Frank Pearson, as well as other names.
His most famous crime was stealing 1,000 head of cattle from a property near Longreach.
And him and his mates taken them down to South Australia to sell, Christine.
They travelled at night, navigating by the stars, earning Redford the name Captain Starlight.
And after he was caught, the jury was so impressed they let him go.
It wasn't all that long after the ill-fated Burke and Wills expedition passed through Chappie.
Yes, have a look at the ABC YouTube post in the comments below for the ABC slant on the story, or you can Google Captain Starlight.
There seemed to be a general pride in his achievements, Chappie.
Yes, and one historian referred to Starlight and his gang as being the Kelly Gang of Queensland.
This grand theft, however, did bring benefit as it resulted in the government bringing in the Branding Act in Queensland in 1872.
You cow owners get your critters branded before some thief pinches them. Or else we pinch you. For non-compliance with the said act.
Getting back to the drone, I sent it back to its home point behind the car where it took off, but it didn't arrive.
We searched carefully for it, but it was like finding a needle in a haystack.
The Find My Drone option on the remote didn't seem to work either.
It had vanished.
All we could do was to return to Longreach, about 40 minutes drive away.
But first we nailed an improvised sign to a tree.
It pays to travel with a hammer and nails, Christine.
Yes, make a note on your list for your next outback expedition. Hammer and nails.
That's right. On our return to town, we posted a drone lost ad on Longreach and Surrounds community notice board.
10 months later, last July, we received a phone call to say the drone had been found.
Yes, that's wonderful. The finders showed great initiative in checking out the Longreach community notice board, finding our contact details and subsequently leaving the drone with our friends in Longreach.
Some mutual friends who were passing through Longreach 2 months later on their way to visit us collected the lost item.
So after more than a year, what was lost and found was returned to us.
Imagine our joy not only on its return, but in the fact that it was still intact and could be flown.
A bit of dust in those tiny motors, Christine, by the sound of it.
Reminds us of the parable Jesus told about a lost son.
That's right, the lost son left his father's house. He must have been a bit of a rebel, Christine.
Going to the city, he lived the high life until his increasingly meagre supply of cash was exhausted.
Yes, and then he found work feeding pigs. where he decided to return home and beg his dad to take him back, not as a son, but as a servant.
Imagine Dad's joy as he ran to welcome him. Throwing a party to celebrate, he forgave his boy and took him back as his son.
A story with a happy ending, Christine.
In hindsight, conducting one of those air traffic investigations, we came up with probably a correct interpretation of events.
Yes, we did. We were able to obtain the SD card from the drone, which contained the data we needed. And upon reflection, I wondered if I had landed the drone again in a suitable space to replace the battery, thereby creating a new home point which I failed to remember and check when searching.
So it seems. Anyway, as simple as that. Case closed, said Coroner Pete.
Yes. Reflecting on the lost and found, isn't it great that like the drone, we can come back to God and be in relationship with Him again? Imagine His joy.
Now to enjoy life to the full and soar to new heights.
Like the eagles, Christine.
And now a prayer.
Lord, thank you for the little and big miracles in life. Thank you for the miracle of a new beginning, of surrendering my life to you, opening my eyes to your truth, enabling me to fly and reach the potential you planned for me.
Well, that's about all for now. Be cool when you are out flying your drone, if you have one, and don't panic.
Well, at least not too quickly. And if you don't have one, you won't need to panic. Stay tuned for On a Lighter Note.
But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint.